Welcome to Lesson 8 in the Excel for Busy Salespeople class. This is Common Pivot Table Errors. So you've gone along and you've created your pivot table, and just like in the previous lesson, you're ready to group your data up. So you're going to right click here, you're going to say Group, and you get the dreaded cannot group that selection message. So what this almost always means when you're looking at the date is somewhere in your data you have a string of text that is masquerading as a date. So there's a couple of ways you can get hints to what the culprit is. If it's just one or two dates, they kind of stick out. If you've imported, a couple of months worth of data and all of those um, are sort of bad actors like these are. Here you can see I haven't done any changes to the formatting, so the dates line up over here on the right hand side and they're in sort of date order. And you'll notice as I scroll across, when I get here, so this I'm going, 2016, 2017, 2018, and then right here at the end, you see these two guys stick out. Not only are they out of place with all the other dates that are in order, they're also justified to the left like a text would be rather than to the right like the date would be. So that helps us a little bit. Again, if it's just one or two items, they're pretty easy to find. If it's a whole range of data, it may be a little more subtle. So when you go over here to your data, um, the dates here, everything looks just fine. There's nothing that would lead you to suspect something's wrong. So I created a basic formula just as date value. And remember, what the date value formula says is, hey, is this piece of text a valid date? In this case, it gives you the date string. So one thing that we could do, again, if we're looking for the fox hiding among the chickens, go over here and change this format from date format to general. Everything that is a date now shows up with the Microsoft date code, and you'll see these two guys stick out. Again, you can do it with a formula over here, the date value formula, or what I did was just created a nested formula. So I'm using the date value, and I said, look, if date value turns up something, then tell me what that something is. Otherwise, that's this comma, if error. So if the date value gives me an error, then just put a little dash in there. Otherwise, tell me what the date value is. So here I got a dash because it's already a date. Here, Microsoft said, oh yeah, you want this string of text to actually say 2106. So I could, if there were more than just these two, which since I created, I know they're not, I could copy this formula on down and find all of the culprits. When you find them, so I'm going to change this back here to short date, and I'm going to Control C, and then I'll paste special value. And now you can tell that it has now converted from a text string to the date value because this changed. Control C, Alt Edit Special Value. Okay, now I'm going to go back to my pivot data. If I just tried to group again, it's still going to give me the error. So I've got to refresh the data. So I'm going to hit refresh. And now if everything works out correctly, so every so often I find myself, I'll refresh it and then it doesn't work, and then I have to hit refresh 2 or 3 times, and then it works just fine. Unfortunately, that is just one of Excel's little quirks. So if at first you don't succeed, hit refresh 2 or 3 times. If you still don't succeed, go back and look through your data again. Perhaps you missed something. So now I'm going to click here for years and click OK. I can also do months and years, and then I can use the little minus to group these together. In my own work, often I'll use this to know how many months worth of data I actually have here. So here, according to this, I have 11 months worth of data for 2018. So if I'm trying to calculate what my finish will be for the year, I can use that as part of my calculations. So that's going to wrap it up for common errors. I know this is probably one of the most frustrating processes that we go through, is trying to find something that's just a little bit wrong and figuring out how to correct it, especially when even after you've done it right, sometimes you have to hit refresh a few times to get Microsoft to really believe you. So that's going to wrap it up for Lesson 8. We'll start next time with Lesson 9, creating an alias table. Thanks.